Hello, hi, I am Shamaree. I am a marriage and family therapist turned intimacy coach and relationship expert, and I empower women to be fully uninhibited and fulfilled in their intimate and sexual relationships. Hello, we're back for another live today. So I didn't really realize that people were off of work today. You work for yourself. I didn't really pay attention to that. But hello, come in, welcome. So today we're going to be talking about dirty talk. And it's very much 101, like how you can get comfortable with dirty talk and like figuring out how to do it sort of thing. And so that's what we're going to go over. And there is a little bit of preliminary type work. So some of the first few things are going to be things that sound very much like common sense to me, but these might be things that you may have been skipping, which is why you might still struggle with dirty talk. So we're gonna discuss that, but I hope you are all well and doing all right today. So first things first, okay, so when it comes to anything, I'm gonna say this regardless if we're talking about dirty talk or anything else, be open. So you're gonna want to be open, have an open mind. The possibilities are endless and we want to treat it that way, right? So the next thing is going to be not to judge yourself. So a lot of times we have judgments about things. We're humans, it happens, right? But we want to check ourselves. So yes, we have these thoughts in our mind that come up automatically, but that doesn't mean that we can't transform them. We cannot change them. So try not to judge yourself. What you like is what you like, and you like it, it's okay. As long as it's not hurting anyone else, it's not something that you should feel badly about, right? So do not judge yourself. If you want to be called something that you think is weird or out of the norm, which is all subjective. People like all types of things. You're probably not the only one, but try not to judge yourself. And this goes right along with that. Don't judge your partner or partners, whomever they may be, for what they like as well, right? But the next thing is going to be to establish boundaries. And so boundaries with anything, all relationships, all things, they're very personal. So what I think is okay and what I'm into might not be what you are into, and you might not be okay with it, and vice versa. So you need to figure out what you're okay with and what you're not okay with. And sometimes we don't know until we're in the moment, and it's fine to discover them along the way. So somebody might call you something or describe you in a way that you do not like in the moment, and you didn't know that ahead of time, so you couldn't warn them. You couldn't tell them like, hey, don't do this. But that's okay to discover it later on. You just want to make sure you go back and check in. So like these first preliminary things are things that you can be doing continuously as you grow and learn more about yourself, as you grow and learn more about the other person and who you are, what you like, all of that, right? So be open. Don't judge yourself, and establish these boundaries. So if you know that there are specific things that you do not like to be called, or specific ways you don't want your body to be referred to, so different people have different names for the body parts, and you might be offended at some of these things, or you just might not think that it's attractive. It might not be a turn on for you. So these are things that you want to avoid so that the mood is not changed or ruined for you. And so if you know what those things are, keep track of those things and let people know this ahead of time. People cannot know if you do not tell them, right? And so that's what you want to do when you're establishing your boundaries. And if there are things that you specifically want to be called, then you also want to let them know, like, hey, I'm really into this specific way. Like maybe I want to be a pretty princess. Maybe I'm a slut. I don't know, right? You need to let them know what it is, right? And then after we do a lot of that preliminary work, and this is all by yourself. So if you ain't got no partner, a lot of people, they come to me and they're like, oh, well, I'll do this when I get in a relationship, or I'll seek services, I'll seek help when I find my partner, when I find someone. I'm not having sex right now. But none of that really matters. You can do a lot of work on your own. Obviously, that's going to change and there's going to be more to do when you find a person, but you do all of that by yourself. Like being open, learning not to judge yourself and accepting you for whatever you are, whatever you like, whatever you're into, being open and okay with it, and then establishing your boundaries. All of that does not require another person at all. It doesn't even require me, really. Like if you don't want help, you don't need to have help. These are things you can do completely on your own. After that, the next one is another thing you can do on your own, and you want to practice. So if you're very uncomfortable with talking about sex, with referring to your body parts, then this is something that you want to practice. It's going to feel weird. Anything that you're not used to saying is going to feel weird. It's going to feel uncomfortable. And that's in general. So you want to make sure that you're practicing these things so that it feels a little bit more natural, so that you're used to it, you're used to saying it, you're used to hearing yourself say it, and it doesn't feel so weird. So you don't get awkward, you don't get weird in the moment. And so when I say practice, you also want to make sure you're doing this out loud, because I can say something in my head a million times, but when it's coming out, it can be very different. It's a different experience. So say it out loud. And I talk a lot about mirror work when it comes to like confidence and things like that. This is another thing that you can be doing in the mirror. So saying it out loud, whatever the term is, whatever it is, like, oh, you're so big, I love it, put it there, harder, whatever those terms are for you, you want to make sure that you're practicing out loud in the mirror so that you can hear yourself saying it, so that it doesn't sound weird and you can see how you look when you say it, right? So that's something else. If you're really conscious about how you're appearing and how you're coming off, this will help you to know and normalize it. It's going to sound very normal. You're going to see how you're saying it and what your facial expressions are doing, what your body is doing, so that you're not at all embarrassed or ashamed when it comes time to do it in front of another person. So absolutely practice. That's the only way that it's going to start to feel normal. It's going to start to feel like it's not weird. Then after that, once we have had this discussion with our partners as well, like, okay, what are your boundaries? What's okay with you? What do you expect? What do you hope for? What do you want me to say? Some people love for you to hype them up, like, oh, you're so big, you're so beautiful, you're so sexy to me. But some people like degradation, and that's what they're into, so they don't need that. They want you to degrade them. And so you need to know what those differences are, and if you're comfortable or not with exploring them, right? And so once you've had those conversations, then when you're in the moment, you've already practiced, so it's not going to feel super weird. But if you're not sure exactly what to say, I have 3 categories of things to make it easier. Again, very much one-on-one, and I'm going to make it very general. Everyone's different. If you need specific assistance, I am accepting one-on-one clients at this time, so you can go ahead, check out the link in my bio, schedule your breakthrough call with me, and we can get you a little bit more specific. But you're going to get the general for the free, right? So first one is going to be using your senses, right? So this, everyone hopefully learned what the senses were, so we know what they are, right? So you want to use that to your advantage. If you don't know what to say, you can describe what is happening, right? So saying, okay, this is what I see. So I see you're big, whatever, or you're so strong, or whatever. Describing what it is that you see. You can describe what you smell. If they smell good, hopefully they smell good, or they smell like what you want them to smell like. You can describe that. Also, what you feel. So touching all over their body, describing what it is that you feel, how it feels. Is it soft? Is it hard? Is it furry? Whatever it is that you're into, describe what it feels like. You can describe what you hear. Do you have music playing? Are they breathing really hard? Are they moaning? Are they groaning? Describing the senses, right? And then what you taste. This can be really interesting if you're into that, describing exactly what it tastes like. If it tastes good, hopefully it tastes good. But use your senses. Use it to your advantage. If you don't know what to say, think about the senses. Very simple. Anyone can do it. And this is something that you experience everywhere. So it doesn't really matter where your location is. You can still use your senses in that moment, right? And you can make it as raunchy or as tame or vanilla as you would like. It can go any direction that you like. The next one is describe how you feel or how you want to feel. So if you're not feeling how you want to feel, you don't have to hurt their feelings and tell them like, yeah, nah, this ain't it. But you can tell them what you would want to feel instead. So I would love to feel you here. I want to feel you in this way. So letting them know what you want. And if they're already doing what you like and what you want to feel, you can describe what it's like. I feel so stuffed, or I feel your soft caresses. It feels so good. I like to feel your lips on my neck, or wherever, right? Describing what it is that's actually going on for you. And you can also take it in a direction as how you feel emotionally. And so like, I feel so close to you. I feel so connected. I feel like we're defying, like we're going beyond the physical realm. So like, I feel your being, I feel your soul, whatever. You can describe it, not just what you feel, like literally what I feel with my body, but emotionally, psychologically, you can share all of those things. And again, if they're not doing what you want them to do, you don't have to be like, yeah, this ain't it. You could say, I would like to feel this, or I would love for you to do this so that I can feel you here. And that is a way to let them know, like, hey, this is what I like. And hopefully they oblige. And then the last tip that I have as far as what to say is going to be describe what is being done or what you would like to be done. So that kind of goes along with what you want to feel or what you hope to feel, but describing what's done. So you can describe how they're doing it to you, where they're doing it to you, where you are experiencing the pleasure. And then again, like I said, if they're not doing what you want them to do, describe exactly what you want them to do. So like, if you have a whole fantasy, a whole play out in your mind, then you can definitely have it all played out there as well. So that is how you can kind of figure out what to say. So some people say they don't know what to say. They just moan, or some people are quiet. And some people are into that. That's fine if you're into that. But if you're wanting to learn how to be more vocal, how to be able to speak more dirty in the moment, these are very, 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 like I said, beginner ways to introduce yourself to that. So I'm going to run through the list again for anyone who came in later. So first thing first, be open. This is with anything, but especially when it comes to relationships, intimacy, and sex, you want to be open because you don't know what you like or what you don't know until you know it, right? And so you want to give yourself the opportunity to explore things. And number 2 is without judgment. So do not judge yourself. You like what you like. As long as it's not hurting anyone, then it's nothing to be ashamed about. You're probably not the only one who likes it. Trust me. Plenty of people are into all types of stuff, right? So don't judge yourself for it. As long as you're not hurting anyone and it's consensual, it is okay. The next one is establishing the boundaries. So like I said, figuring out what you're okay with and what you're not okay with. Some people are really in, like, for example, like some people are really into like the racial terminology sort of thing, the race play. And some people are clearly not going to be. I know people is getting on Doja about it, but like people like what they like, right? And so if that's not okay for you, that's something that you want to explicitly tell someone. And if that's something that you're specifically into, that's something that you also want to be clear about so that everyone's on the same page. And that you're able to express that very clearly before you even get in the moment and experience a difficult situation, right? And then from there, once you've established the boundaries, once you've talked about how things are going to go, you're going to practice. You want to practice saying these things out loud, looking at yourself, say it, normalize talking about it, normalize using the terms that you're interested in or that your partner is interested in so that it doesn't feel as weird when it comes time to do it. So the less that you say something, the less that you experience something, the more uncomfortable it feels when you finally do. So practice, practice, practice. Once you do it a lot, it's going to feel very normal. It's going to feel like this is what you've always were supposed to be doing. From there, once you have done that preliminary work and you've established the boundaries, you feel comfortable that you know what to do or say in the moment. From there, if you don't know the specific words other than the ones that you guys have discussed, you can also try just using your senses. What do you see? What do you hear? What do you smell? What do you feel? What do you taste? And the next one is describe what you feel or what you would like to feel. So that can be like physically, I feel you here. But that can also be emotionally, psychologically, I feel so connected to you. I love you so much. All of those things. And then also describing what is being done or what you would like to be done. So what is it that they're doing? What would you like them to do? Or what is a fantasy that you have? Like, set the scene, let them know. And these are all ways that we can start to get more comfortable. And then, like I said, with practice, the more that you do something, the more that it becomes normal, the more that you become open. So you start by being open, but like I said, I know we make judgments. I know we're human. We do that. So in the beginning, you're going to say that you're open, but you might not be that open. But the more that you practice and put these things into play, the easier it gets, the more open you become, and the more that you can explore with fun things and try different things than what you're maybe used to. And so if you have more questions on that or anything just like relationship or intimacy, you can definitely drop a comment below. If you're watching this later on, you can hashtag replay and still comment below, and I will do my best to get back to everyone. I hope that you're enjoying your Monday, whether you got it off or not. I'm doing some work. I'm about to go to the gym. So I'm still on like my daily or like my weekly routine sort of thing. But whatever it is that you're doing, I hope that it is a lovely day for you. Again, comment below, engage, because I put it up before, but I'm not shown to non-followers. So if you really rock with me, if you've learned something from me at any point, make sure you're sharing my content because someone else might learn the same way that you learned, all right? I appreciate you guys, and I will see you later.